Excellent. So the homework this week was differentiation, and we just had a few questions to differentiate at the start. All it wants is to find divided by x, so just a straightforward thing. 5x to the 4. Somebody tell me what they got. Oh, that's not good. Divided by the x equals... Say it then, Danielle. No.
Come on, speak it. Look, everyone's waiting for it now. 20x to the power 3.
20x to the power 3. Okay, great. Do we have 10 marks that Paul had allocated for this? So, I'm not quite sure how we're going to allocate that. But
maybe as a percentage. The last
one will give 3 to.
F and
F will give 2. How does that work? Does that work? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. So this one. 1 mark for that then. 1 mark for this one. What do we get, Andrew?
minus 2x and minus 2.
Perfect. Minus 2x to minus 2. What do we have to do with this one first, Joe?
Make it 6x to the power half.
We do. And then once you've done that, we get
3x to the power negative half.
very good. 3x minus a half. The next one is already in nice index form for us. So if we differentiate that, what do we get? Paul?
4x minus 15 over 2x to the half.
Very good. 4x minus 15 over 2x to the half. What do we have to do with e before we can do anything else with a? We have to multiply out the brackets. Okay, so before we do anything, we need to get x to the 5 minus 2x cubed. And now we're ready to differentiate, but it's quite an easy one to differentiate. So we're going to get... What do we get, Beth?
5x to the power 4 minus 6x. Minus 6x to the power 2.
That would be right. 5x to the 4 minus 6x squared. Right, we have another thing that we need to do with this one. We've got a bracket, so we need to multiply it out. So if you square this bracket, remember what we're doing here is we're doing x plus 1 over x times x plus 1 over x. So as we multiply that through, we're going to get x squared at the start. We're going to get x times 1 over x, which is 1, and another x times 1 over x. And we're going to get 1 over x times 1 over x, which is 1 over x squared, but we're going to write it as x to the minus 2 instead of 1 over x squared. And now we're ready to differentiate, so dy by dx would give us, what would it give us? Go on, Ewan.
2x minus 2x minus 3.
Very good. Because the 2 will go to 0, and we're left with minus 2x to minus 3 there. And I think let's give 2 marks for that one. Very arbitrary marks being given out here. And then the last one, before we can differentiate, we need to...
For this one, he's done the beginning bit wrong, but then by doing that, he still managed to get the right answer.
Which one? For that one?
F, yeah.
Oh yeah, because
you did your trick, but then obviously
you didn't have the 2 in between.
So do I give 1 mark or then with a bod? Or
I feel I want to give him 0, but give him 1 mark because he's all right really. That's the way that examiners work as well. Okay, so if we do this, we need to simplify the fraction first, don't we? Uncommon denominatorization. Split it up into 2 separate fractions. And then that's just going to give us 2 plus x squared. I'm going to be a bit generous giving 3 marks to this. We'll maybe give an extra one further back. Differentiate that and we just get 2x, don't we? That's not worth 3 marks. So if you can allocate the marks, let's give 2 to that one, and 2 to that one, and 2 to that one. And then all the others, let's give 1. Does that still add up to 10? Oh, it does. Wow. Miracles of mental arithmetic.
Oh no, that is still.
Okay, so add them up. And we've got a second question to look at. Here it comes. So like I said on Friday when we gave this out, this was the first question. Wasn't really that realistic of exam questions. You get 1 or 2 like that, but not many. This is more in an exam kind of context. Notice we've got to find the tangent at a particular point, and we're going to have our equation in that form. I think the question probably also said where a, b and c are integers, but we haven't included that bit there. As you know that this is about differentiating, and you know that because the top of the homework sheet says differentiation on it. But if you met this in an exam, it wouldn't have that big message, those big shiny lights saying differentiation. So what we look for is when we see words like tangent or normal or gradient, any of those kind of things, that tells us to differentiate. Notice the question itself doesn't say find dy by dx or differentiate at any point. But we know we have to, so we're going to differentiate that function first to get 6x squared minus 12x minus 18. Now there's a danger here. I wonder if anybody's done this. When we at the point that we went off doing this, we had started to look at stationary points, hadn't we? And our next step with stationary points is we put this equal to 0 and try and solve it. And if we were doing that, we'd divide through by 6, because it makes it easier. But that's not what we're doing here. We're trying to find the gradient at this point. So we can't divide by 6. So if the person that you're marking has done that, they've made a mistake at this point. What we need to do now is we need to sub in this x value. At the point where x equals 1, we need to know what the gradient is. And the gradient is 6 times 1 squared minus 12 times 1 minus 18. Which would be, I don't know why I've written basically the same thing again, sorry. Is that negative 24? So now we're going to put our equation together. We've got a gradient, and it's the tangent, so we don't need to do anything fancy with that. That is the gradient of the tangent. Our x value is 1. Our y value is negative 11. And so this is on your poster. Y minus y1 is m, x minus x1. Let's sub the numbers in. Y minus negative 11 is negative 24 times x minus 1. And we want to have it in the form ax plus by plus c is 0, so all on the same side. So we've got y plus 11 minus 24x plus 24. Take everything over to the left. 24x plus y minus 13 equals 0. We may as well do a quick little check. Does this pass through that point? Well, 1 times 24, 24 take away 11 is 13. Oh yeah, take away 13 is 0. Good. Dave managed to confuse himself slightly. And that's it. And that's that actually feels to me like that's quite a soft 6 marks. So you're going to give yourself a couple of marks for getting the differentiation right. You're going to give yourself a mark, 2 marks for subbing in x equals 1, a method mark for subbing in x equals 1, and an accuracy mark for getting minus 24 as your gradient. That's 4 so far. So 2, 1 for subbing in, 1 for minus 24, a mark for correctly subbing numbers into this equation, meaningful numbers, so that's a method mark. Even if you've got the wrong values that you're subbing in, you still get that mark. and a final mark for rearranging it correctly, and that's maths.